Hello everyone, and thank you once again for joining me for yet another presentation. In our last video, we talked about the latest expression of interest system introduced by the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. This is a brand new system where Alberta will be accepting the expression of interest for all its worker streams. In this particular video, I will take you to the step-by-step process of actually creating the expression of interest. So if you have not watched my earlier video, please watch that video. That will give you a basic understanding of the expression of interest. So just very quickly, from 30th of September 2024, Alberta is accepting application towards its multiple worker streams by way of something called an expression of interest. It's a online form that you would have to fill up before Alberta would consider you for any of its PNP streams. Each expression of interest will be given a score, and based on the score, Alberta would start doing the draws sometime in October. So I have fully explained the basics of expression of interest and the point system in the earlier video. So have a look at that. I will not repeat it, but what I can do is towards the end of this video I can attach that video to the end of this video, so that you guys after the end of this video you guys can continue watching the last video where I have explained the expression of interest system. Now, without going into any further discussions, let's go straight into how to create the expression of interest. So this is the landing page of the new expression of interest page. So here the first step for any of the PNP aspirant is submission of expression of interest. Now how do you do that? You would do that through the Alberta Aaip portal. So this is the same portal you would have used for PNP applications, or you would use for PNP applications in the future, but this is the same portal where Aaip is utilizing it for submission of the expression of interest. Okay, so you would click on this and then this will take you to the page where you can log into the Aaip website. Let it come up. So now it's here. You will click sign in. I have a separate video on this, on how to create a Aaip account, so I'll not go through it. So let me quickly log in and then come back. So now I am logged in to the Alberta Advantage Immigration portal, which is used for doing all your applications, including your expression of interest. So once you log in and if you go down, you would see a new box for create new expression of interest for workers. Please note there are two expression of interest links. One is for entrepreneurs and one is for worker. We are interested in the worker stream. Okay, so we will click on create a new expression of interest for workers, and this will open up the page where we will submit the expression of interest. Now, main thing about this particular form is that this is a one-page form, right? So if I quickly take you through the form, it's not a very big form. It's a one-page form and it's a self-declaration. The data that you are entering here, you are making a declaration that the data that you are providing is correct and that you are eligible for one of the PNP streams of Alberta. Okay, so the first and foremost thing, even before doing this application, is you should make sure that you are eligible for at least one of the streams. Okay, so that is the first and foremost thing. Don't submit this form if you are not sure that you are eligible for any kind of PNP streams of Alberta, right? So first make sure that your eligibility is met. To check the eligibility, I have a lot of videos on checking eligibility for each of the Alberta PNP streams. Go through those videos and check your eligibility. If you are eligible for one or two, you are good to go and submit this expression of interest, right? There are some caveats, there are some nuances which are declared in the form, like for example that there is no guarantee that your expression of interest will be selected, or if you express your interest in one of the streams, it's possible that you could be invited for some other stream of Alberta, right? So you can be invited to a totally different stream on apart from the one that you applied. So this assessment would be done by Alberta independently, and this is a one-time form that you have to submit. You can submit only one form, and if you want to submit additional forms, you will have to withdraw the existing expression of interest. Okay, so that's a basic housekeeping that I just wanted to clarify, and which you will also see once you are in the landing page for workers expression of interest. Okay, so that's the first eligibility you would read. When once you come on this page, you would be reading that as the first content of this particular form. Then there is a Freedom of Information of Protection Privacy Act, so you will have to agree to this, that you have read the above information. Click on this, and then begins the actual expression of interest form. Okay, enter your name. Your email address would be, your name and email address would be taken from the profile that you have created, and then from the drop down, select one of the streams that you are interested in, right? So say for example, I would select Alberta express entry stream tech pathway. Okay, this is the eligibility. This is the stream that I am interested in. For sample, you can select any one of these streams, right? Very clear, very easy. So that's the first section done. Next questions relate to some of your IRCC related status. So do you have a valid work permit issued by IRCC? Very self-explanatory, yes or no. If you select yes, you will be asked to provide the details of work permit and the work permit expiry date. So if you click on this particular list, you would see there what all different type of work permits are there. So you see there is a PGWP, there is a LMIA based work permit, there is intercompany transferee. There are multiple things here that you can select, right? If your work permit is not in one of these categories, you can always select other and then let Alberta immigration decide whether you are eligible or not. Okay, so this is a very good thing that that Alberta has done, that it has introduced a work permit type, so it reduces a lot of question whether you are eligible or not, right? So click on work permit type. Say for example, I am intra-company transferee, right? So I would select this and select the work permit expiry date. I'm not entering any date, but yeah, you can enter any date. Let me enter a date, say December 2025, 2026, right? Okay. Are you currently in the Federal Express Entry pool? This is the IRCC pool for Federal Express Entry. If you are already in the pool, say yes. If you are no, then say no. If you select yes, it will ask you for the profile number, for the Express Entry expiry date, your score, and your NOC. Okay. So this is very self-explanatory. You will enter your Express Entry number, your expiry date. Let me put a date. Again, this is totally random. I'm trying to enter 444 is my comprehensive score, and then I would be entering my NOC. NOC could be any one of the values from the NOC list. Again, a totally random selection I'm doing. Okay, this is not in no way a correct application. I'm just trying to do a demo for you. Okay, so this is the your second section of your IRCC related information. Okay, next comes the education. Here you would provide the highest level of education that you have completed. Secondary or school is the lowest, doctorate is the highest. Depending on your situation, you would select your highest level of education. Let's say for example, I would select bachelor's degree. If you have completed your highest level education in Canada, select where the location was completed. So there you have only two choice, Alberta or outside Alberta. Say for example, I completed my education in Alberta. Whether ECA is applicable or not. So if you have any kind of ECAs for your foreign degrees, you would say yes. And if you don't have, you would say no. ECA is a education credential assessment done by organizations like WES. It's a paid service, external service. I have a video on how to get your ECA in my channel. Have a look into that if you are interested in that particular information. So this completes your education section. Next is your language proficiency. Language proficiency, you would enter your language proficiency as applicable to you. Like for example, for me, I got a 6 and more than 6 in all my English parameters. So I can select 6 or higher. For French, I didn't do anything, so I selected no language test. If for some reason you have two proficiencies or two language tests, then you would get 3 extra points for your language score, right? This I have covered in my last video, so you guys can have a look into that. So this is a very simple and quick language proficiency test. There are some information here about the test, about what type of test is required, and how do you find the scores. This is basically the lowest of the CLB in across your discipline. So for example, across all disciplines, you have 4 for listening, 6 for reading, 6 for writing, 5 for speaking. You would enter CLB 4. Okay, so this is the thing. And then as I said, you have, if you have proficiency in both English and French of at least 4, then you would get extra points for that. So that is a good thing. Total work experience, again a very simple selection radio: 12 months or more, 6 months or less than 6 months. Select whatever is applicable to you. Each people would have this. Say I have more than 1 year of experience, and then I have also have 6 months of work experience in Alberta. So if I have 6 months of work experience in Alberta, I would get some extra points. If I have 6 months or more experience in some other place in Canada, I would still get some points, but you get the most points if you have at least 6 months of experience in Alberta. This I have covered in the last video also, and you can see on the screenshot that I am sharing here. So right now, this is the information that you will have to declare. So depending on what you have, you might have more. Say for example, you worked for 6 months in Ontario, 6 months in Alberta, you can check both of these checkboxes. However, you will get only the maximum points. You cannot exceed the points for work experience. Okay, very simple. So these two checkboxes are applicable only for Canadian experience. If you don't have Canadian experience, you can leave this box as unchecked. Select your age. This is by far the simplest question possible. Select your age. Family in Alberta. If you have a family in Alberta, click on family in Alberta. If you have a job offer in Alberta, click that. Okay. Once you click the job offer, you will have 3 more additional options. You could have, along with your job offer, an endorsement from the rural communities. So if you have that, select that. Or if you have a job offer from a member of the tourism and hospitality sector, you can select that. Or if you have a job offer from a member of the law enforcement association, which is basically this AACP, you can select this. So depending on what your situation is, you would be selecting the job offer details. So if you have a job offer, you get some points, and then there are some extra points for the sector based job offer. This I have also covered in my last video. Okay, then you would select the NOC for the job offer. Your job offer would be for a position, so you would basically select the job offer, and here I am just selecting the same NOC as I selected on my work permit requirement. See here, when I was entering my Federal Express entry details, I selected the same NOC as that. Select the NOC which is most applicable for you. This is just a demo, guys. Okay, please don't enter this every time. Okay, I'm sure you would not, but still. Okay, NAICS. NAICS is, if you guys have followed Alberta PNP for some time, you would remember that NAICS was something which was applicable for the Alberta Tech Pathway. If you have this information, then enter this information about your employer's NAICS. Speak to your Alberta employer or do a search and then find your NAICS. There is a link of NAICS codes. You can go here and find your company's NAICS code. Okay, if you know this NAICS code, you would go into the link of finding your NAICS code and enter the same. Let it load. Yeah, so whatever your NAICS, whatever your company's NAICS is, you would select the correct NAICS code. Okay, again, a total random NAICS code that I have selected. Okay, next, Alberta job offer location. So depending on your job or job offers location, the location where you are offered the job, you can get some extra points if your job location is outside Calgary or Edmonton metropolitan area. So if you are able to secure a job offer from outside Calgary or outside Edmonton, you are eligible for some extra points. Plus, if you can get it from a, that could be a rural community or any other community in Alberta. Okay, so if you have a, if you have job offer from a different area other than Calgary, Edmonton, you would select that. If it is from a rural community, then you would select that. Or if it is Calgary, Edmonton, you would select that, whatever is available on your job offer. Okay, so say for example, my job location is still Calgary, so I selected Calgary. Next, there are some extra points available for any kind of designated occupations or professional occupations and trades in Alberta. If you have a job offer to work in a designated occupation and you are following the registration licensing requirements of that particular professional occupation, you are eligible for some extra points. So if you meet those requirements, you would select I meet the requirements to practice in the regulated occupation in Alberta. If that is the case, you would select this and you stand a chance to gain some points. Okay, so you would do that, and then there is a declaration. Just before filling the declaration, quickly check your application whether you have filled all the application, whether you have provided all the information that might be required, and then go through the final declaration that you are giving. Obviously, you are providing a declaration that this information is complete and correct, right? And then the fact that the draws that would happen would depend on the labor market and the expression of interest volumes. So Alberta would do the draws out of the expression of interest pool based on its economic demands. So that is what you have to understand very clearly. This processing will take time. You are now just submitting your expression of interest. Read through the expression of interest and then check your box, sign, and then you are almost done. If you are using a representative, then yes, otherwise no. So if you're using a representative, enter that you understand this. As anyone, if you're not getting any help, say no. You are doing a declaration, and then finally you would click on submit. Once you click on submit, it will give you a reference number for your expression of interest. So expression of interest is here, and then the initial status would be submitted. If you are selected for an application, you would be informed via email, and then you can come back to this particular portal or use the link available on the application mail and submit the actual PNP application. Okay, so this is the full process of the expression of interest submission, guys. If you think you have gained value out of it, please do like and share this particular video. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. I will be making few more videos on the questions that came out on the last particular video, and I will try and answer most of your questions there, right? So I hope you got some value out of it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys, and have a nice day.